1,000 years, right? A major thing happens, like Christ's death, and then boom, finally the Catholic Church is open in that 1,000 years. It takes 1,000 years for that stuff to happen, right? It's interesting that there's the middle of that 1,000-year cycle we're about to enter into, but we're also at the same time of a 500-year cycle. We're happening at the same time of a new 1,000-year cycle because we're at the beginning of a new millennium, right? Does that make sense? So this is like it's like double on top of double, because if you think about this new world beginning again, because if you think about then, what's before the 16th century? The Dark Ages. I mean, the 1400s was, Columbus searching for stuff. But the 13th century, like 1300s, or 14th century, sorry, the 1300s was the Dark Ages. Now, that's where we're going to have some fun. Oh, Mona Lisa as well, right? Done from 1503. So in the 16th century. I mean, if you really think about it, we're living in the times of what right now, there is a renaissance happening right now with technology, arts in the world right now. Now, I don't agree that I don't think that the latest, Kanye album is going to make it on to a museum in 30 years, personally, or 300 years, personally, but you never know. Maybe. I think that's what's about to come out, though, is when it comes to culture and it comes to what the new world is, it's about to be defined. When it comes to trade, when it comes to, aspects of the global world and economies changing, guess what? It happened the last time this happened in the 16th century. Guess what? It's going to happen again. Because if we look at that chart again, right? Checking the app? What did I say on the app about it? Did I say anything cool? So, I want to show you all that Saturn coming into Capricorn with Pluto in Capricorn is a big deal mathematically, because it's been 500 years. I mean, literally, you want to know what's even crazier? Literally to the motherfucking day. Is that insane? So, now that we know mathematically the new world's about to go down and be recreated and re-seen, not only on the physical understanding of what the world looks like, but also in the physical aspects of trading, colonialism, merchants, and all that, I was about to get all Trump and be like, gotta go make some deals, there's a little bit of irony to all that, right? That's what the new world's about, trade. Now, we can go into currencies and what that new trade's going to look like, because even in that 16th century, we get into trading spices and the spice trade, and the Portuguese was a huge I guess you could even call it a nation that kind of just demolished after all the trading ended for them and everything. But you got to realize, there are going to be new partners and new places in the world that are going to create this new world, right? Now, let's have some fun and go back 250 more years. I'm already logged in. That's what's even worse. We'll just do that. All right, so I want you all to see this, because this is pretty crazy here. All right, 1284. Okay? In 1284, we had Saturn and Pluto conjunct again. Mercury and Venus in Capricorn, Mars in Capricorn, Jupiter in Capricorn, and the Sun in Capricorn, and the North Node. Guess what's coming in the next 5-year cycle? All of these things are going to be happening. Saturn and Pluto are going to conjunct. Mars is going to retrograde in Capricorn. Jupiter will be in Capricorn at the same time that Pluto and Saturn in. Do you see that? Do you know how rare that is? Because Jupiter's a 12-year cycle, Pluto's a 250-year cycle, and Saturn's a 30-year cycle. For them all to hit, the last time they hit jackpot was 1284. What happened after the 1280s was the Dark Ages. So it's kind of odd because here we have the last time it happened, bringing the new world, and then the time before that, with actually more of the transits of what are about to happen, we have the entering of the Dark Ages. But what are the Dark Ages? It's a world in which that tried to be suppressed was suppressed. A new world tried to spring up in the 1200s. What was that new world? A lot of it had to do with the Knights Templar, if you guys remember, in the 1200s, and this holy war, right? But a lot of weird things happen at this time where finally the Knights Templar get their power. They're going into Jerusalem. They're going into the Holy Land. They're taking it over. They're in battles with all the Persians. They're in. It's a massive, massive bloodbath for one area, which we still have today with Jerusalem and Palestine and trying to get along. But what's interesting is there's so much about the ending of spirituality at this time, the last people that were holding on to it, and it all being wiped away. And unfortunately, I hate to be honest, but a lot of it had to deal with the Catholic Church trying to push it all down, right? Because then you get to the 1300s and they start burning people and witches, and if you're not following the Bible this way and you're not doing this way, then you can't do it. And so there's a suppression because Capricorn is the ultimate power. It is the ultimate power of control. So one of the scariest parts, I'll start with the scary part first of the transits that are coming up at the beginning of this cycle to me, that especially hit in 2019 when Jupiter will finally meet with Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, is the fact that control becomes the biggest issue in our lives. Now the good news is there's a massive building aspect. And actually, you know what's ironic is if you look up the Northridge Quick in LA. Does everybody know the chart of the Northridge Quick or no? Oh my, I can't spell. Like, come on. Northridge Quick. Astro. Believe it or not, Astro's got the Northridge earthquake ready to go for us. Come on, baby. Hold on. The other thing with Capricorn is patience. We've been in a Sagittarian world, so it's been very like, you know, oh, let's go. Oh, wait, no. Saturn is very... So when you get this much Capricorn, there's going to be great rewards with great patience. So I don't know why this brings this up, but the Northridge Quick in LA here was with a massive amount of Capricorn. Sun, Mars, Uranus, Neptune. Look at that Mars, Uranus, Neptune conjunction that happened in Capricorn at 21, 22, 23 degrees, where Pluto was about to head this year. I'm not predicting the big LA earthquake, but maybe. Just putting it out there that Pluto is about to uncover the energy source that was so high during that time here. But it's interesting that all these major Capricorn, major transits that happen bring up major events in our physical reality. I'm looking at everybody's faces like, what the fuck is going on? I try to give as much astrological proof as I can when I do these presentations, so actually you can actually be prepared that the physical world is about to change to the highest of extremes with Saturn entering Capricorn, because Pluto's already been here waiting. You know, it's kind of like a tick inside of your leg that never got out. Like, I've just been waiting here. You know? So things like the Northwood Ridge Quick, things like, you know, the ending of the Knights of the Round Table and the killings and the control, things like, you know, who's going to win in the world with trade because everyone else is, you know, I hate to use this analogy about the Western world, but the Western world is all about who is going to win and who is not. Third world countries become a thing in the 16th century. That weren't before. What do we consider a third world country? An underdeveloped place. Very Capricorn, right? Oh, the place is underdeveloped. Get me out of here. Where's my Lincoln? I haven't even had Sprite yet today, guys. So it's on now. Somebody opened this already. Took a sip. Oh, thanks, babe. So, underdeveloped countries. We are about to enter a 5-year zone where, I hate to say this, and my guides want to say this. Underdeveloped countries that can't pull through will go more and more into, I guess you could say, that third world. And other countries that are going to push are going to go more first world. You will see the greatest paradigm of that come in the next 5 years. Because when you get this much Capricorn, it's winner take all. And in that period, in 1284, was, well, the Round Table, the Knights of the Templar at the beginning, let's kill them all. They're taking control. We want full control. Bam! Governments, societies, and anything that has to deal with this are going to take as much control as they can at the highest degree. Look at how crazy this was in the 1284s, too. Uranus was in Cancer, exactly opposing the Pluto and Saturn aspect. So it was conflicting a new world to begin. No. There's a new world happening, but we're going to show it the way we want to. Not the way that the people should have. Uranus opposed Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. Look at that. Now, I know I'm getting a little deep astrologically. Some people are probably looking at that like, well, what does that mean? I don't know. What. Okay. What that means is there was an opposition coming into the 13th into the 14th century of control and the people not allowed to have any of it. And we have been stuck in this cycle since the 1200s. That the people have not been able to have control. And especially the people that were born between 1284 and 1517. Those people had the worst ever. Does that make sense? Like, you could see it in the astrology. Like, oh, the last time Pluto and Saturn conjuncted in Capricorn was opposed Uranus. Oh, that just means the people get nothing. And that's why they're called the Dark Ages. Then the revolution happens of the Renaissance period, which we can go back and look at that 1517 period. There is not an opposition to that, right? What is there? There's trines to Uranus. Do you see that? Guess what's about to happen in the next year? Let's go to today. Okay? Let's push this to May of 2018. Let's put this a couple days. So now we're going to get to now. I have to build up then to now. It's the only way it really works for me. I'm sure everybody knows that Uranus is about to enter into the Earth sign of Taurus in 2018. So part of this new cycle that's coming is, guess what? More and more dealing with physical reality. Because Uranus has been, for the last 8 years, in the sign of Aries, which has to deal with individualism, you know, the Kardashians, things like that coming out, you know, weird identities, personalities, all these kind of things. The world having to deal with the ego, the YouTube star, the Leo King, bullshit like that, right? But when Uranus comes into a sign like Taurus, which, I'll be real with you, remember, Uranus is a fixed planet, and it's coming into a fixed sign. So it's going to be stronger here, even though it's not in a sign it really likes. Uranus likes to be fancy-free and be able to, you know, like every Aquarius, run out of the situation. It's going to be in Taurus where the cows are, welcome. And be stuck. I can't do this. It's going to have to learn to like live in some horseshit, you know? But it means that there's going to be physical changes to reality. But what I love about this Uranus and Taurus transit is it's going to be trining Saturn, and over these next 4 or 5 years, so if we go into like 2021, that's already at the, okay, let's go back, sorry. Let's go to 2020 and 2019. During this big Saturn Pluto conjunction that'll be happening with the South Node, it will be with Uranus in trine to this space, like it was during the 1500 Renaissance period. So the good news is it's not going to go to hell in a handbasket dark ages, because Uranus is a positive placement during the time in which this change of the new world is happening. So give everyone a round of applause. It's not going to be that fucking shitty. Because if we would have seen Uranus again back in Cancer, I would have been literally selling survival kits for you all. I really would have. I would have joined Alex Jones and Infowars.com and totally shifted my whole business to, okay, you need to survive, don't ya? But if you notice, I don't sell any of that because I'm not worried about that. Because when I see this, I go, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Because you got to realize as an astrologer, the Pluto-Uranus square that was 2012 through 2015 was the biggest thing all astrologers saw. But this is bigger than that. So we've all never seen this before. We've all never seen Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, which if you notice in 2019, so if we kind of jump now, Jupiter is in its natural sign of Jupiter. Jupiter's in its natural home of Sagittarius. So there's so much about coming home in the next 5 years. Okay? So another way to look at this is we are coming home to work it all out. We were all missing for an action for a long time. 5 years, right? And then when that little light brought us in, there was a period where we all kind of were missing too. But this 5-year period is about coming home. Coming home. And the nodes are going to shift from Leo and Aquarius at the end of 2018 and into 2019 when things get intense during all this Capricorn energy into Cancer and into Capricorn. And what does Cancer rule with the North Node? Coming home.